A month before our wedding, Dylan cheated on me. His mom told me to forgive him, saying, all men make mistakes. To show them I wasn't a pushover, I decided the wedding would go on as planned. Your family raises pigs. We're not a match. Me as a Walsh Group heiress. At the wedding, Dylan held another woman's hand, spouting nonsense. I revealed my true identity on the spot, then turned to a hotel staff member and proposed. Spoiler, I'm loaded. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel and tell us where you're listening from in the comments. Dylan and I had dated since college. After graduation, he got a government job, and I became a teacher in Los Angeles. Our wedding was scheduled for the end of the month. Early that month, I'd taken the day off to check on the new house's renovations. The contractor said the place was nearly done. Our wedding bed and furniture had just been delivered. I wanted to see the setup. When I opened the door, I froze. There were a pair of high heels by the entrance, definitely not mine. Dylan had said he was working overtime. Suddenly, a loud moan echoed through the house, stopping me in my tracks. Baby, faster, harder. I'm almost there. Dylan's voice was desperate, his heavy breathing crystal clear. He was cheating, and he hadn't even closed the bedroom door. I stood in the hallway, staring at the scene inside, my mind going blank. The wedding bed had only a mattress, nothing else. I could clearly see Dylan's movements, his moans growing louder and faster. If he hadn't shouted, I'm coming so loudly, I might have stood there frozen until they finished. Overwhelmed by anger and grief, I burst into hysterical laughter. Dylan and the woman spun around, clearly terrified. I guessed he'd gone soft. He jumped up, got dressed, and rushed out to face me. Chloe, why are you here? He tried to pull me inside, panic written all over his face. He glanced at the door, relieved no one else was around. Slap. Even as I laughed, I landed a hard slap across his face. Dylan's eyes widened in disbelief, then filled with anger. You're crazy. You hit me over this. Over this. I snapped. You think cheating is no big deal. Dylan, we're getting married in a month. Anger turned to heartache. I couldn't believe it. Dylan had been my senior in college. We were from the same hometown, so we'd grown close. Our relationship had seemed natural. Everyone called us the perfect couple, except his family looked down on me. Their family was all government employees, respectable, and well-connected. My parents raised pigs in the suburbs of California, and I had a younger brother. At first, Dylan had defended me against his family. I'd thought I'd found someone worth spending my life with. I dreamed of a quiet, happy life, until I caught him cheating a month before our wedding. Dylan stared at the floor, silent. Relax, sister, it was just a fling, the woman said, stepping out in her clothes. She looked several years younger than me. I'd neglected my appearance over the past 2 years as a homeroom teacher, rarely dressing up. I'll leave you two to talk. Brother, she said, winking at me. Pure provocation. Oh, and sister, you should wear makeup sometimes. I thought you were the property manager when I first saw you. Her mocking laughter lit a fire in me. How dare she insult me? Slap. I slapped Dylan again. Hard. What the hell? Why are you hitting me? Control your dog, otherwise I'll keep punishing the owner. I refused to stoop to her level. The real show was just beginning. I pushed past them and left. Dylan grabbed the woman, stopping her from chasing after me and covering her mouth to muffle her insults. He couldn't afford this scandal. Not with his government job. Outside, I kicked myself for not bringing my phone to film it. What a mistake. Chloe, come over for dinner tonight. Margaret texted. I invited your parents too. She acted fast, already setting up a showdown. I'd go. I wanted to see what they planned. At 8 p.m., I met my parents and explained what had happened before knocking on the Dylan's door. Chloe, in-laws, come in, come in. Margaret smiled, pulling me inside like nothing had happened. She had nerves of steel, an old pro at pretending. Aunt Margaret, let's cut to the chase. My parents have to head back soon. I said. My parents lived on their pig farm in the California suburbs. They loved the quiet life there, and city regulations didn't allow raising pigs downtown. Of course, you're busy with those pigs, Margaret said, her nose wrinkling as she glanced at my parents. She pulled out a handkerchief, pretending to cover her nose. Now she thought we smelled. She'd been the one begging us to come all this way. We hadn't had time to clean up. My dad's face darkened, but my mom squeezed his arm, smiling. We're not used to the city anymore. Better head back early. My dad set a basket of fresh pork on the table. Here, try this. It's fresh. Oh, dear, Margaret said, horrified. That's a mahogany table. Put it on the floor. My dad opened his mouth to argue, but my mom shot him a look, and he clamped up. We assume you invited us for a reason, my mom said calmly. She wouldn't speak first. She wanted them to make the first move. Dylan arrived just then. He nodded at us like we were strangers. "You're here." His casual attitude stung. I felt like an outsider. With everyone present, Margaret's performance began. "I called you here so Dylan could apologize to Chloe," she said. "Apologize? For what?" My mom feigned surprise. Margaret's face flushed. "Well, young people make mistakes." Dylan was just confused. Now I knew why Dylan had dared to cheat. His mom thought infidelity was no big deal. It wasn't her getting cheated on. After all, everyone knows about the wedding. If we call it off, people will talk, she added, resorting to emotional blackmail. First an apology, then guilt-tripping. If this gets out, it won't be a little mistake for your son. My dad snapped, his eyes blazing. Suddenly, Margaret grabbed a broom and started hitting Dylan, fake sobbing. "You ungrateful boy. Chloe's such a good girl. And you cheated on her. Drunk and seduced? How dare you? I'll beat the sense into you." Her act was laughable, more comedy than sorrow. Dylan dropped to his knees, grabbing my legs and begging for forgiveness. After half an hour of this nonsense, my mom was tired, and I was annoyed. "Fine, I'll drop it, but I have one condition," I said. Margaret and Dylan's faces lit up. "Anything. Name it. The wedding is in 2 weeks. We're moving it up," I said. My parents and I had agreed on this. I could only stand Dylan for 2 more weeks. I'd make them pay for what they'd done. "Yes, of course. You're so reasonable, Chloe," Margaret gushed, pulling us to the table. My parents excused themselves, saying they were busy. I knew they just couldn't stand Margaret's snobby attitude. And our farm's private chef, a former 5-star cook, made better food than this. In the car, my mom cried, "For me, baby. Do you want dad to step in?" I hugged her. "Don't worry. I've just been hiding my claws as a teacher. I'm still a wolf." I called my best friend, who quickly dug up info on Mia, the other woman. That night, I drove to Mia's apartment. On the way, I passed Dylan's car. He arrived first, but I pulled up soon after. I watched him go inside, then waited in the garden below. No one knew about the cheating except Dylan's family. I had no proof to report him. Dylan was too careful. An hour later, he left. Typical. He wouldn't stay the night. I knocked on Mia's door. She answered, half-dressed in a sheer black robe, her body on full display. "Oh, the real girlfriend's back," she sneered, leaning against the door. No panic, just mockery. Bad timing. He just left. She stepped aside, inviting me in. Even though I'd made up my mind to end it with Dylan, my heart ached. This was the man I'd loved for 3 years. The man who'd once whispered sweet nothings to me. I was calmer than when I'd caught them in the wedding bed, but the pain was still sharp. No need. I saw him leave. I came with him. I lied, staying in the doorway. The smell of them lingered in the apartment. I didn't want to step inside. "I'm here to make a deal. If Dylan could betray me, I'd ruin his reputation. Please, you're not gonna pay me to leave him, are you?" She laughed, her eyes dripping with contempt. $500,000. I raised an eyebrow. Money solved most problems. "You're insane. If you can come up with $5,000, I'll get on my knees and apologize." She scoffed. I rolled my eyes and called my brother Jake, telling him to bring cash. An hour later, Mia was on her knees, staring at a suitcase full of $100,000 in cash. "Want more? I can have my guy grab it," Jake said. I shook my head. "This is a deposit. The rest when it's done." Mia smiled brighter than she'd smiled at Dylan. "Whatever you want, you can trust me." I nodded, climbing into Jake's Maybach and leaving. The day before the wedding, I went to Dylan's apartment while he was at work, waiting for him at the complex gate. "Dylan, here's the $8,000 dowry," I said, smiling innocently, playing the part of the lovesick fiancé. "I know our wedding is soon, and I don't want to lose it. Can you give it to your mom to hold?" Dylan's eyes widened, shock quickly turning to pride. Of course he was proud. He had a fiancé who forgave his cheating and handed over her dowry. I knew the neighbors watching would spread the word within an hour. "Dylan." Mia arrived right on cue, looking upset, holding a pregnancy test. Dylan panicked. Before he could speak, Mia threw herself into his arms. "Dylan, I'm pregnant. Let's go inside and talk," Dylan said, pulling both of us into the apartment. "What? You bastard!" Margaret screamed, grabbing the broom again, her usual act to make me feel sorry for her. I played along, stepping between them. "Aunt Margaret, tomorrow's our wedding. If this gets out, everyone will hear about it," I fake cried, leaning on Margaret's shoulder. "I just gave him my dowry. I just want to be his wife." I didn't expect my over-the-top acting worked. Margaret instantly turned on Dylan, yelling at him for taking my money. "Good girl, mom won't let you down. Here's $50,000 to make up for it," she said. said, handing me an envelope. I tearfully accepted it, then said I had to go back to school. Before leaving, I winked at Mia. The rest was up to her. I was the boss now. On the wedding day, I told my parents and Jake to arrive late. Dylan answered several calls in a hurry, then left the hotel and didn't come back. I stood alone on the stage, facing our guests, waiting for him. What's going on? Where's Dylan? Why is Chloe alone? Ms. Carter is such a good woman. I heard Dylan cheated on her. No way. His government job would fire him for that? How dare he? I ignored the whispers. Sister, do you want to come down and rest? A soft voice pulled me out of my thoughts. I turned to see a young man in a hotel staff uniform, handsome, with clear eyes, probably in his early 20s. I shook my head, smiling gratefully. Even a stranger felt sorry for me. Today's show would be unforgettable. Moments later, Dylan returned with Mia. Margaret followed, looking proud. I knew Mia had succeeded in winning her over the day before. Chloe, we're calling off the wedding, Dylan announced loudly, as if declaring victory. The crowd erupted. What a scumbag. He's canceling the wedding in front of everyone. Unbelievable. I grabbed the microphone I'd prepared. You cheated on me, didn't you? Dylan gritted his teeth, saying nothing. The crowd booed. Their anger nearly drowned him out. Cheated. Mia and Dylan have loved each other for years. Margaret shouted, defending her son. We never approved of this wedding. You forced Dylan to marry you. She turned to the crowd. Lying. Her family raises pigs, and she has a brother. She's just after our money. She extorted $50,000 from us yesterday, and now she's forcing this wedding. She just wants more cash. She's a gold digger for her brother. Margaret was good at twisting the truth. But I'd planned for this. $50,000. You gave me $8,000 in dowry, and I gave it back to Dylan yesterday. Your neighbors saw it. I said. Margaret stumbled. No one knew about the $50,000. You. I didn't hold back. Dylan, she's pregnant. Are you really not going to admit you cheated? Dylan glared at me, while Mia patted his arm, calming him. So what? Your family raises pigs. You just want to marry me to climb the social ladder. Dylan snapped. I'd rather ruin everything than marry you. Mia's a Walsh Group heiress. Even if I lose my job, I'll never bow to you. That's what I'd been waiting for. Dylan finally admitted it. The crowd gasped. Some felt sorry for me. Others envied Dylan for hooking up with a millionaire's daughter. Walsh Group was Los Angeles' top meat company, a household name. Mia's the daughter of Walsh Group's CEO. No wonder Dylan's being so ruthless. A Walsh son-in-law is better than a government job any day. I stared at Dylan's proud face, wanting to laugh. Chloe, stop dreaming. We'll let you keep the $50,000. But I'll never marry you. I only love Mia, Dylan declared, hugging her tightly. Everyone stay and eat, Margaret said. No shame, the wedding's off. But we'll celebrate Dylan and Mia's engagement instead. This is just a small party. We'll throw a big one later. She thought she'd won. They had the Walsh Group behind them. Chloe, since you're not married, apologize. And I'll find you a nice, simple man to settle down with, Margaret said, patronizing me. What a joke. She wanted me to apologize. Sister, come down. This man isn't worth it, the hotel staff member said, climbing onto the stage to help me. I smiled, shaking my head. I looked toward the door. My parents should be here soon. Sure enough, my dad, mom, and Jake walked in. My dad, usually in farm clothes, wore a tailored suit and a seven-figure watch, unapologetically wealthy. My mom was dressed in Chanel's latest collection, her bag sparkling. Jake looked like he had a trust fund kid written on his face. How tacky. You used our dowry to buy fake designer clothes, didn't you? Margaret sneered. My dad glanced at her, his aura as a former CEO radiating authority. Funny. I didn't know Richard Walsh needed to wear fakes, he said. Mia stepped back from Dylan, eyes wide. You're lying. You're not Walsh Group's CEO. Mia's parents are. Margaret laughed, telling everyone we raised pigs. Mike, it's all set, my uncle Michael said, walking in and nodding at my dad. He glared at Dylan. That's Walsh Group's current CEO. Someone shouted. Everyone recognized Michael. His face was in the news all the time. My dad had stepped down to run the pig farm for fun. Michael was running the company until Jake was old enough. They'd planned for me to join after the wedding, until Dylan messed everything up. Why, you're Mia's father, Margaret stammered, forcing a smile. No, I don't have a daughter, Michael said. Chaos erupted. I laughed as Margaret's face turned pale. Time to reveal the truth. Aunt Margaret, you forgot. I took my mom's last name, I said into the microphone. We do raise pigs, hundreds of thousands of them. Walsh Group built its fortune on meat. You didn't know that. Margaret's face flushed red, then white. Dylan gritted his teeth, furious. You bitch. You tricked my son. You lied about being a Walsh heiress. Margaret screamed, attacking Mia. Mia fought back, scratching her. You're the idiots who believed me. Dylan's been paying me for 6 months. We even slept in your wedding bed. So what if I wanted a sugar daddy? You were stupid enough to fall for it. Security pulled them apart. Margaret fell to her knees in front of me. Chloe, it's all my fault. Forgive Dylan. He was just confused. She grabbed my wedding dress, sobbing dramatically. Dylan knelt too, grabbing my hand. I pulled away, glaring at him. Don't touch my sister, or I'll break your legs, Jake shouted, held back by Michael. I nodded at my dad, reassuring him. Chloe, I'm sorry. Give me another chance. If I ever cheat again, you can kill me. Dylan cried. It's too late, I said. No, you loved each other for years. The wedding was supposed to be yours. Will kick me out, Margaret begged, calling me daughter-in-law. I cringed. They made me sick. The wedding will go on, just not with him, I said. I turned to the hotel staff member behind me. How old are you? Married. Girlfriend. He froze, answering instinctively. 22. Single. Want a wife. With a dowry of hundreds of thousands of pigs. His eyes widened. Then he smiled, taking my hand. No dowry needed. This hotel is my wedding gift to you, he said. I was shocked. This guy was even bolder than me. Chloe, you're crazy. You're marrying a stranger. What about our 4 years together? Dylan shouted, acting like a victim. You cheated first. Don't play innocent. And I've already called a lawyer. Enjoy losing your job, I said, leaning back into the stranger's warm embrace. Whether it was real or an act, today's show was perfect. Security dragged Margaret and Dylan out. The crowd cheered. My dad gave everyone a box of premium black pork and a bottle of wine, refunded all wedding gifts, and told everyone to enjoy the meal. I went backstage to take off my makeup. Ms. Walsh, someone wants to see you, a hotel staff member said. After today, my identity was out. I'd quit my teaching job to avoid drama and take a break. Tell them no. I was tired. I just wanted to travel tomorrow. It's the young man from earlier. I raised an eyebrow, forgetting about him. I dragged him into this on a whim. Let him in. I planned to offer him a gift or a business deal as an apology, but he walked in and dropped a bombshell. Sister, here's my ID and birth certificate. When do we go get married? I blinked. He was serious. I was just acting. You know that, right? So you don't like me, but I meant it. We can marry first and fall in love later, he said. Someone had been reading too many romance novels. We barely know each other. We'll get to know each other. I have plenty of time. He stepped closer, trapping me between his arms and the vanity. His scent filled my nose, and I got lost in his smiling eyes. I'd been burned before. I found it hard to trust anyone. Name your price. I'll compensate you however I can, I said, looking away. I don't want anything except you. Oh, and my name's Leo, he said, leaving. Leo. The name sounded familiar. On the way home, my parents invited me to stay at the farm. Jake wanted to take me traveling. Michael suggested I visit the company's branches, preparing to take over someday. All the men in my family just wanted to retire early. Chloe, that boy is Mike's son. You might not remember. He played with you and Jake when you were kids, my mom said. I vaguely recalled a little boy, but the memory was fuzzy. Mom, I don't want to date right now. I knew she meant well, but I wasn't ready for a new relationship. Then don't. Your dad and I will support you forever, even if you stay single, my dad said, still angry about Dylan. Jake helped me pack my apartment. I stayed at the farm for a few days, then planned to travel after wrapping up school paperwork. Leo somehow found out I was at the farm. He showed up every day, helping me feed pigs, carrying baskets while I cut grass. He was quiet, never annoying me. I couldn't bring myself to kick him out. Sister, can I drive you to school tomorrow? He asked after dinner, cutting fruit for me as we sat in the yard watching stars. No, Jake's free. He's not. He has to go to the company tomorrow. Can't you go learn at your hotel instead of clinging to me? To be honest, I was struggling. I'd been having erotic dreams about him lately, making me blush whenever he smiled at me. Sister, are you worried I'll neglect my career? Don't be. I interned at hotels since freshman year of college abroad. I have plenty of experience, he said. I thought of Jake, who'd planned his retirement since freshman year, and worried about our family's future. Sister, there's a thunderstorm tonight. Can you stay with me if I get scared? I rolled my eyes. His ulterior motives were obvious. Go home if you're scared. I went inside, leaving him laughing. The next morning, Leo drove me back to Los Angeles. I'd had my phone off for days. When I turned it on, messages flooded in, numbers, definitely Dylan, texting and friend requesting me. Sure enough, a call came through. Hello, Chloe. Where are you? Come back to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll die without you. Dylan cried. His voice so loud Leo frowned in annoyance. Then die somewhere else, Leo said. I laughed, feeling my mood lift. Who's that? Are you with another man? Chloe, did you sleep with him? Dylan shouted, accusing me. I scoffed, How had I ever loved this man? Yes, he's way better in bed, I yelled, then glanced at Leo. He winked, making my face burn. Chloe, you can't do this. I lost my job. My parents lost their jobs. Please come back. I'll marry into your family. Dylan was delusional. He'd hated our family before. Now he was begging to join it. Dylan, it's over. You lost your job because of your own actions? Don't blame me, I said, hanging up and blocking the number. Sister, how do you know I'm good in bed? Want to find out tonight, Leo said, driving with one hand and unbuttoning his shirt. I swallowed, staring at his defined muscles. Put your shirt on. We're going to school. Act appropriately. I looked away, hearing him laugh. I couldn't help but think of my dreams. At school, I told Leo to wait outside while I handled paperwork. Half an hour later, I walked out, only to be tackled into a hug. Chloe, you're crazy, I shouted, pushing him away. It was Dylan, unshaven, his hair greasy, looking like a homeless man. Chloe, you're wearing makeup. You never dressed up for me. You did this for him. Admit it. You're with him. I sighed. When we'd been together, he'd hated my short skirts, tight clothes, and makeup. As a teacher, I'd dressed casually. He'd gotten bored, thinking I was ugly. Now that I'd quit my job, I could dress however I wanted. Let her go, Leo said, kicking Dylan away. Dylan rolled on the ground. Pathetic. I stood behind Leo, touched. I knew it. You're a gold digger. You chose him because his family owns hotels and he's younger. Dylan shouted. The school crowd gathered. Everyone knew about our drama, and everyone hated Dylan for cheating. With my good reputation as a teacher, they took my side. Dylan couldn't argue back, so he glared at me. Dylan, get a job and move on. It's over, I said, turning to leave. Suddenly, he screamed, pulling a small knife and charging at me. I froze, then Leo tackled me to the ground, shielding me. The crowd screamed. Someone yelled, call 911. Someone call the police. Leo whispered something in my ear, but I couldn't hear it. My mind went blank, tears streaming down my face. Help him. Leo slid out of my arms, his white shirt soaked in blood. Outside the operating room, I waited anxiously, praying for him. Money meant nothing in the face of life and death. 2 hours later, the doctor nodded. He was out of danger. I collapsed into my mom's arms, crying with relief. Over the next month, I visited Leo every day. The police took statements. Dylan was charged with assault and sentenced to jail. Margaret never dared to show her face again. Leo recovered well, weak at first, but soon laughing and joking. Hurry up, I'm tired of holding this, I said, feeding him. Sister, the doctor said I can't bend over. I have no choice, he said, grinning. You can feed yourself? How is this bending over? I threw the towel at him, walking away. He laughed, making me roll my eyes. Sister, you moaned my name in your sleep last night. You said, too much. Stop, he teased. My face turned red. Had I really sleep-talked? Sister, be my girlfriend, he said, hugging me from behind. I remembered what he'd whispered when he saved me. Sister, live happily. If I'm gone, find someone new to protect you. My nose twitched. I nodded. I couldn't resist him. He was too sweet, too brave. A month later, Leo was discharged and moved into my apartment, calling it premarital cohabitation to build our relationship. After being late for work 5 days in a row, I packed his bags and sent him home. Leo, only come on weekends? I don't want to be late anymore. Sister, that's unfair. I've been holding back. I haven't asked for multiple rounds a night. You don't have to brag about lasting 2 hours each time. We argued at the door, me refusing to let him in. Sister, my back hurts, he said, his voice soft. I always gave in, but not this time. Minutes later, I heard nothing. I opened the door slightly, only for him to wedge his foot in and push me onto the couch. Sister, you're too easy to trick. What if a bad guy comes? I hit him, but we ended up on the bed. A month later, Leo and I got married at his family's hotel. It was a grand wedding. Our photos hung on every floor. Wife, here's your dowry, all our hotels around the world, he said, handing me a golden key. I laughed, accepting it. I got married with a dowry of hundreds of thousands of pigs. Thank you for reading today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and share with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting stories. See you next time.